17th right now. We are well past everything. We are well past everything. Everything has been said and done, dead and gone, all that good shit. We are past whatever the fuck we were supposed to be. Man, I meant to come back so much earlier. There was so much. And I also was so not prepared for coming back to stream either. Dudes, holy shit. God. Where do I even fucking begin? I fucked up. My stream was fucked up. My storage is big. I couldn't activate everything. Everything that could have went wrong. And I'm still behind on stuff. I technically should have like 12 videos edited, finished, all that, and that's just not the case. But that is in fact besides the point of everything, because today we are talking about Berserk, baby. That's right. Finally back from the holiday hiatus and a little bit after that. And I wanted to start off kind of big. I wanted to start off kind of huge. Hold on, give me a second. I also sort of kind of need to readjust this camera or my positioning. Yeah, there we go. All right. So yeah, I wanted to start off kind of big, and obviously start off with Berserk, because Berserk has been one of those manga in my life that have been kind of in my not peripheral, but like it's been around for a while. Also, give me one quick second. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I sounded A-okay in the mikey wakey. Well, yeah, no, but Berserk, I started reading Berserk, I want to say 2 years ago, right? I started reading Berserk 2 years ago, and oh my god, have I been hooked on it. Now, I've gone back and forth on it, because I had a friend who I was living with, who I was reading it as much as I can, and almost like every other day, we'd have like some form of discussion about it, and it'd be like, dude, like, I think I only read like 2 chapters, and I had a full-blown discussion with him about it, which was insane. And he's like, "Oh, I need you to read this," because he's like, "Yeah, see, I knew you cook with the cook-ups of what you were cooking and shit." And I'm like, "Yo, yeah, I know I would, but like, god damn, man, like, it's a big bitch, it's a big son of a bitch, man. I'm telling you that right now." But I have so many thoughts, so many thoughts about Berserk. So here's what we're gonna do. Right now, the portion I'm talking about, it's been a while. I do have a lot of my thoughts. I still know a lot of my thoughts. I like wrote them down, knowing that like I would do either some stream. I originally wanted to make a video. The video was gonna be hella long, and honestly, I didn't know how I wanted to convey my thoughts. So this is probably gonna be the best way that I would be able to do it, just because it's gonna be the best way that I can explain it, the best way I can, without like super fucking losing my mind. Hi, Splitora, how are you doing? It's nice to see you this morning. Very interesting stream to come in about. I'm talking about Berserk, a manga. I will admit, for anyone who doesn't know what Berserk is, it's a very somewhat intense manga, and so like, yeah, if you're squeamish with that, we are going to be delving into some serious topics I'm going to want to navigate, which is also the reason why I have put off talking about Berserk, because holy shit, good, I finally caught a stream. Okay, to be fair, this is my first stream back. I haven't streamed, the last time I streamed was, oh my god, I think it's been over a month since I've streamed. But that's because it's holidays, and the company that I personally work for, works at like a company. The company that I work for, it's very hectic during the holidays, and it's been hectic. So do not feel bad about not missing a stream. It is completely fine. Technically you didn't miss the stream. Technically, this is my first stream back, so congratulations on catching that. It's sick. But yeah, I put off Berserk because it's got some really, really fucking hard topics to talk about. So, it's gonna be a lot to talk about, but I'm going to try my best. So what we're going to do is I'm going to not usually go what I go through a bullet point to bullet point, but just give my thoughts overall as I've been reading. I at least wrote those down. I have everything that I have down. I have everything that I have like conjugated. So I'm gonna do my best to go ahead and give my thoughts as I was reading. Oh, I was like, maybe mutual streams at such different times. I just want to say hello. Oh, trust me. I completely feel that. The only reason I'm streaming so early is the fact that it is the weekend. It is the week. I'm off on the weekends. Usually I stream around like 5:00, 5:30, like 5:30 p.m. And that's the only reason I'm streaming right now. It's because it's my day off, and I get tomorrow off because of Martin Luther King Day. But like, yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I have so many people that stream in the morning that I wish that I could also say hello to, but it's a lot, man. There's too many people that stream. No, we don't have days off that align. That even makes it even worse, because then you can't even line that up together, which sucks so much fucking more. But you know what? It happens. It's completely fine though. Like I will try my best, because I know I want to catch one of your streams, and I've been trying to like sit there to catch one of your streams. So I will make sure to be in one of your streams one day. I promise you. But also understand, like, I stream and then I make the YouTube videos every week, and then I run like 2 separate podcasts, and then I'm also thinking about doing music. I don't just stream. I do a lot of shit. I do arguably too much shit. That's because I have way too many ideas that I want to like put out into the ether. So forgive me if I'm not there all the time, but I try. I try. Now listen, you're good. I understand. Thank you. I appreciate it. I know catching up with friends is always like catching friend streams is always hard. With that being said, if you also ever want to just chat, my DM is always open as well. I'm always open to mutuals wanting to just chat or send funny memes and do all that stuff. So that also is perfectly fine as well, I will say. Let me get into this. Let me get into this thing though real quick. So I need to set this up, this whole thing with Berserk, in the sense of, yeah, this is gonna be just my thoughts on how everything goes, on how like I felt reading this manga, which, oh my god, let me tell you, this manga gave me so much fucking agita. This manga, dude, it gave me the most roller coasters of emotions, because the first arc is the Black Swordsman arc. We get introduced to Guts, and oh my god, I'm trying to remember the fairy's name. Puck. There we go. Sorry, the part that I'm talking about, Puck only shows up. Well, actually, the Black Swordsman arc actually goes on for like a really long time. I honestly haven't watched it, but I heard a lot about it. Okay, to give like a super quick breakdown for Berserk for you, there's a lot of shit in it. I have to like just say that out the gate. There is a lot of shit in it, and a lot of like stuff that some people might not be okay with dealing with. Now, it deals with stuff like SA and other stuff like, and like other like really aggressive stuff like that. Now, in no way does the manga glorify it in any single way, which is why I am more comfortable talking about it. It's not like other mangas that try to fetishize it or do anything like that. It doesn't do that at all. It shows that this is a very, very bad thing. That's what's happening, and everything that goes on about it is not good. The real argument comes more from the actual discussion of how much is shown. That's where the real argument is, and that's where I sort of kind of have a problem with this manga. It's definitely, like, as much as people give that hate for it, I don't think it does it as bad, but it's not removed from criticism, if that makes sense. Where it's like, no, there are things that you can criticize about Berserk when it comes to how it depicts it and how it actually shows, like, some of the assault scenes. But doesn't glorify it, it doesn't glorify it, and it deems it horrible, which I do think is a good thing. So that's why I'm like, oh, okay, that's understandable. Yeah, I just like to give people that warning because I know there are some people that don't like to have that in their story at all, which I think is completely understandable. Trust me, Berserk is it is the worst story. If you don't want to see that, it is the worst story to have. When it comes to that, because it gets kind of brutal. It's not everywhere. There are very big chunks of space where none of that is around, but it is a big contention, which I will talk about later, because I will talk about it around the beginning of the Golden Age, because the Golden Age has some crazy shit. But with the beginning of the Black Swordsman arc, we get Guts and his introduction when it comes to everything, and I think Guts has probably one of the best introductions for a character when it comes to any manga and how that's depicted, because it's really nice to see, honestly, where you see this character, and to be fair, that might be with a little bit of knowledge that I have for Berserk, but going in and seeing him, like, he's obviously this jaded person. He has an interaction with Puck where, like, he obviously doesn't like being touched by other people. He has really bad trust issues. But you see, he's not necessarily a bad guy. He's not necessarily a good guy either, but he's just kind of a dude who's just struggling, I guess. That would be, like, the best word that I can go forth. Where he is a man that doesn't want to do the things he does, but understand that it needs to get done. And I think that is some of the best, like, character work I've seen just right out of the gate for a character. And you see it where he's trying to, like, take this dad and daughter duo across he's going, like, across the like a forest of, like, haunted people, and they're like, I don't know if you want me around, because everything that Guts has brings, like, not very good things around. And it's to the point where he kind of realized that his presence brings, like, hurt to the people. And oh, hold on, I meant to do this. What is I keep calling him Kentaro. I don't know if that's the author's actual name, so let me fucking Google that real quick. No. Oh, Berserk author. Oh no, it was Kentaro. Oh, I was right. Oh, okay. I was right. Look at me being a little smart cookie. I knew it was Kentaro. So yeah, Kentaro is going off. Good morning, Zafira. How are you doing? Hi, Zafira. You joined a wild stream. We're gonna be talking about Berserk, and then Berserk's gonna have a lot of wild shit. But I feel like you at least already knew that. I feel like you already knew that. Also, I'm taking the hydrate thing, but I have my coffee with me, so that's gonna be kind of against my hydrate. Okay. But yes, Guts himself is a fascinating character in the beginning, because that whole forest thing, it just sets up who he is so well, and I feel like Puck is a really nice audience member to have and to be around for Guts to interact with, because you see him being one of that people that's, like, slowly help him get around, and I think he does need that kind of foil, as we will see going into the future, or going back in the past, that we see Guts, he kind of needs that type of person to kind of just put him in line and tell him what to do, and just be like, hey man, you can't do that, that's not great, that's not awesome, you should probably not fucking do that. And even though he needs to butt heads with people, I think he needs that, like, He needs that camaraderie. He needs someone to kind of just tell him, yeah, that's not okay. I just woke up, LOL, I listened to the stream while I get my shit together. You know what? That's so fair. That's so fair. I feel like I need to do that. But I also like I like silence in the morning for some reason, but that might just be like a guy thing, just to process the existential crisis of life. So, but that's wild stream to pick. But I appreciate you being here, and I hope that you're having a pleasant morning as well. I do hope that. But yeah, in the Black Swordsman arc, God, I have a whole list of fucking notes because there's so much that I need to talk about. And I don't even think I'm going to fully talk about it. But yeah, that first introduction for him at the beginning of the Black Swordsman arc, arguably one of the best introductions for a character in any manga that I've quite literally ever seen. I think it's somewhat unrivaled, honestly. Oh yeah, the Baron is a really good first antagonist too for who he is, because you see him as like this demonic character, and he's going to be like, and like Guts' whole goal is, oh, I need to go and get rid of all of the apostles, right? So he's like, I need to get, like, we have no context for who the apostles are. We get a little bit of a hint of like, yeah, they're demonic creatures who kind of like use their own power to manipulate humanity and whatnot. And so, like, Guts' whole thing is, like, I need to get rid of all of the damn apostles and like, for my goal. And so the Baron is a really good first introduction, not only because we see the process in which how that happens, where people are corrupted by that power in order to actually, like, they're corrupted by their power, by the desire of what they want, because the Baron, all he wants to do, he just wants to protect his daughter. That's literally all he wants. He's like, I want to protect my daughter. She's the only thing that I have in this life. No one's going to get to her. And also, he's a bit greedy and stuff like that. But, like, he's greedy and he has stuff. But, like, he has, like, these, like, he has an attachment of humanity, which is his daughter. Which, man, the Baron also, the way he gets to that point, it's really sad. As I think the context for it, if I'm remembering correctly, is I think he either goes off to war and he finds his wife cheating, or he goes off to war, comes back, and it's like she's like become this like demonic being that's just lost herself. I don't remember, but I feel like being like, damn, that's really fucked. So I was like, I'm not saying he's justified, but I see the through line. He's still a very, 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 very bad man. But I see the through line. But no, the Baron is a really good person. Also, because we see partly what will make somebody an apostle, how someone goes down that lining. Because we get all the, like, through him, we get all the information about how the Behelt work. We get all the information about like how the Behelt works and how like someone will like get keys of how that's activated. We don't have context for that yet, because all we just see is we're getting all this information, which, man, the more actually I think about it, the more that is actually extremely, extremely good the way they did that, where they like showed everything that you need to know for context. So when it comes up later down the road, you sit there and you're like, oh, that's what the context was for the Black Swordsman arc, where it's like, hey, we're giving you all the information. You're just not going to necessarily know the actual context for how that works until you, like, really understand what's going on in the world and what's actually happening. So, like, he gets that whole interaction with the Baron, and, like, you know, there's the Black Swordsman arc. Guts is basically trying to make his way. Also, the Behelt that they have big as shit. I don't know if it's a funny it's a funny quote to say. I don't know if size matters when it comes to the Behelt, because the Behelt that they show in the Black Swordsman arc is big as shit. Like it's like you have to have two hands to hold it. But the Behelt that they show in like the Golden Age is like a smaller one around the neck. I don't know if size matters. I don't know if there's like a level of performance with it. Like Jesus. And it sounds like I'm talking about wiener size, but like, no, like, I don't know if there's any context. I don't know if it was meant, but it was kind of like that. Oh, okay. Like, I thought it was like a weaker one, but it's not. Is Chizuru in Berserk? No, Chizuru is not in Berserk, and I'm glad. And if she was in Berserk, I hope she would. No, that's too much. No, that's too much. I was gonna say it. But I was gonna say it, but I don't want to be mean. I'm not gonna go wild like that. What's good? What's good, Rage? How you doing, brother? Welcome back to the stream. We haven't streamed in God knows how long. It's been so long. It's been too long. It's been too long, and I am too tired. And had so many performance issues with my stream. But it's good. We're good. We're here. And we're talking about Berserk, which is a wild fucking thing to talk about. But a really, really fucking good story. But yeah, the Baron's a good first villain to establish everything when it comes to that, and just explain like how everything works without actually giving good context. And then obviously they get to the confrontation. Guts ends up going through everything, finds his way around, and then eventually we see like what would be the God Hand, and like I said, it is impressive how much information they put at hand. It was just like, whoa, there's a lot of shit that's happening, which that shit is insane, which also shows that, you know, the apostles can get their power removed away, and that you gotta give something in order to get. It's the, even though there's the law of causality in Berserk, they do a little bit of the law of equivalent exchange, but it's definitely unequivalent given what they're given. On like such a intense fucking degree. Like it's not even fucking comparable. But one thing I was surprised to see was Griffith so early. I wasn't expecting Griffith. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Griffith? Oh, wait, hold on. We're not continuing this stream until I figure out what fuck. Hold on. I don't like this. Griffith. My fucking, hold on. God damn it. Switch over. Griffith. Why am I fucking up? I usually would never have this issue. I don't know what the fuck happened. Griffith. Okay, Griffith. Okay. I don't know why I had a brain fart for a second. But yeah, I was not expecting Griffith to show up so early. That fucking surprised me. Like 100%. I was like, oh, okay. And man's got the whole outfit and shit. Like I've seen Griffith like that. So I was just like, oh, what's the context? Because I like, obviously, you know, the context, like there's the Casca scene and, you know, and other scenes and Guts losing his arm. So there's like a little bit of context there, but also at the same time, I'm kind of sitting there in my mind. I'm like, okay, well, what exactly is what's happening? So I thought we were gonna get into the shit early, but obviously we don't. But it was still nice to see. I was like, okay, we're doing kind of like but how did we get here? But without like the cringy, like I thought for sure we were gonna build it to where you know how some shows they'll go and they will do like the end of season stuff on the first episode, and they'll do like you're probably wondering how we got here, and then finally start all the way at the beginning of the story, and it's just like, wait, I want to know. Which it's very cheesy to do, but I do think it is a very smart tactic, because that's the best way you hook people, is that you show them what's happening, and then they have to get context for everything that happens. And so nothing. I mean, Guts tries, but nothing really happens. Although, also the symbolism of Guts being below while Griffith sits so high, is very, very, very symbolic for everything that happens in the Golden Age. Yeah, because I have comments about Griffith. Let me tell you that. I have comments about Griffith. I do. My God, so much just sitting there, being able to sit there in my mind and think about anything. I'm finally seeing the light of what that motherfucker is. I'm just like, I'm not blind anymore. I fucking get it now. I'm not blind anymore to the bullshit. Which, to be fair, in the beginning, very charming man. But, no, with the context, not so much. But the one thing that also interests me about the Black Swordsman arc is after everything's said and done, the Baron's killed and all that stuff like that, the daughter of the Baron is just kind of left there. And, it kind of this weird cycle that I feel like Guts will find himself in of taking care of his goals, but leaving like bodies in his wake, both obviously physically, but psychologically and mentally too, where we see the first girl, or the Baron's daughter, basically call for revenge on Guts. And that makes me wonder, like, if down the road, because for context, right now I'm past Golden Age. Right now I just finished the Children of the Forest arc, which that's a whole Berserk. The story has no chill, dog. I'm just gonna say that right the fuck now. It has absolutely no fucking chill. But holy shit, man. But it really puts me to think if some of these characters who we leave in the wake are gonna be people that like they circle back around, that Guts circle backs around, and maybe we see them grow up. I don't know how much time passes like after parts, but like I would like to see the Baron's daughter come back. I would like to see the only other lone survivor of the Band of Hawks other than Griffith and Casca get an update on how he's doing. I would like to see where that girl from the Children of the Forest ends up becoming and how she ends up becoming. Like, I would like to see those positions, and like maybe they circle around back and they end up running into Guts again after like 5 years, and it's just like, oh, you're changed a lot. Yeah. And it's like, oh, cool. So I kind of hope that, obviously, like, if you didn't know, the author for Berserk, Kentaro, passed away a few years ago. So the story is being finished by his friend, who was one of the only people who knew what was, like, somewhat going on in the story, and being like, I'm going to finish it to the best of my ability. It's going to be slow. So we're not getting, like, the full picture, but at least to what has been created, I'm very interested to see if that comes back around at any certain point. But that's mostly the Black Swordsman arc. Honestly, one of the best introduction arcs in anime. And honestly, the Golden Age, as we're getting into it, is also probably one of the best arcs in anime, because, not anime, in any manga, because, well, no, also anime as well, because, holy shit, dude, the Golden Age, it is chock full of good fucking little bits. With that being said, it is also an arc that is filled with some bullshit. If I'm being completely honest, it is an arc that is filled with a lot of bullshit. 100%, 110%, it is filled with so much, like, bullshit, but bullshit that we don't realize until after the fact, and it's so just like, oh my god, like, you know what, I'll say this right now, before I talk about anything, Golden Age is the biggest fucking rug pull that I've ever seen in any manga, because how dare you spend all that time making me feel good about all the characters that I'm watching, about seeing characters grow and develop and actually like become better people, and all of them actually reaching their goals and having better lives for it and doing what they can, only for you to fuck me over at the eclipse. No. No, that whole part was bullshit, but in like the best way possible. Not in the way of like, oh, this is like not great or whatever. Like, oh, you pull like this doesn't make sense. No, everything about that made sense. It was just, how dare you make me feel like that? How dare you take so long? And the Golden Age is long. I didn't realize how long it was. I thought it was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna get a little bit of backstory. No, bitch, that's the start of the story. We're starting at his childhood. We're gonna show you how this motherfucker went from like, had a shitty life, finally found some good shit, only to get fucked over all over again. And it's like, bro, this is ass. Look, in the best way possible, but this is ass. In like a feeling way. In like the, you made me feel bad, not like you created something bad. I want to emphasize that right now. I love the Golden Age. The Golden Age is fucking amazing. The fucking way you make me feel though, Kentaro, rest in peace, but also fuck you, dog. Jesus. And also, before we properly get into the Golden Age, we're gonna address it here because it happens very early on. There are some problematic scenes that is in Berserk. People tend to stay away from Berserk for that reason. So this is my complete, full like stance on the depiction of how Berserk shows its stuff. I will defend. Okay, hold on. I will sit there and say Berserk does not glorify it. I already said it in the beginning, but Berserk does not glorify what happens, and I think that's an issue in anime, in manga, that I think Berserk actually avoids really well. It doesn't glorify any of the bad things. It doesn't like downplay any of the bad things, and it makes sense contextually to all the characters as it plays into their trauma and how they were affected, and actually you see them grow and develop. I'm okay with somebody adding that stuff into story as long as it makes sense for the character. And you see that even in the beginning of the Black Swordsman arc, where Guts doesn't like to be touched. And it's attached to a lot of what happens to him here and how he's repaired from that, but also how he falls from that all over again. He has trust issues. He has not great mental issues when it comes to physical affection. It takes him quite literally years until he's actually comfortable even being around people like that. And that plays into a lot of the trauma that he goes through. So I think it makes sense to be in the story. I think Berserk does a good job with the follow through of actually making it like impactful and making it matter. What I'm not a fan of is how brutal they show it. I think that there is a criticism to be had of too much can lose some of the effect on it. Like showing Guts early on getting assaulted, Griffith in the future when he's assaulting somebody as well. Like, and it's not the first time with Griffith, bitch ass nigga. But I think there is something to at least be said at the very least when it comes to how he is treated, how it's like depicted and shown. Like you don't need to show all of it. Like the one and like people are gonna think like it's the weird one to bring up, but the one that like I kind of just sat there and I was like, okay, we don't need to do all of that, is when there is a scene where the Band of Hawks are actually getting chased out of the city after saving Griffith, and the Empire or the Kingdom ends up sending like this mad dog to go chase after them, and they see him like, you know, forcefully using a woman, and then like raiding a village, forcefully using a woman, and then putting the woman on a spike. That's too much. It's like that. That is way too fucking much. So like, I think people who are like on both spectrums are kind of not okay. But I am okay. I'm more okay with the people who are more aggressive on not wanting to see it than the people who are on the other side being like, oh bro, like it's okay, like it's it's whatever. Like, bro, it's part of the story. It's like, yeah, but there is a way to do things that's not, you forcefully showing somebody getting brutalized like that. There are ways to do it that's not that. There are ways to do it, people, that are not like that. And I think that's a fair criticism. And I also learned, luckily through conversations and also through people I've been talking with, that Kentaro also very much looks back at his early works for Berserk and says, yeah, I probably shouldn't have gotten that brutal. Even he has walked back how he feels about that depiction. So, if the author is walking back on those, like, visuals that he added when it comes to, guts and the Mad Dog and other stuff like that, and he also admits, he's like, listen, I was young, I was feeling a bit edgy, I was feeling a bit intense. So I think there is criticism that if the author could at least realize that he may have gone a little too hard when it comes to some of the depictions of assault that he uses, I think we could all look at Berserk and say, yeah, it's a great story. Yeah, they use the trauma really well and help it to develop the characters. That doesn't mean that the amount of the show and the way they depict it is very good. That's a fair criticism that I think people have, and I don't think you should really hate anybody if they don't want to see it, especially if they have triggers of themselves, because, spoiler, Berserk doesn't really leave anything to the imagination when it comes to that. So, yeah, that's long. It's long and fucking winded, but that is my, complete, full take on the whole entire thing, which I think is fair. Don't criticize the fact that it's in it, but you can criticize the amount that is shown within it. Because they use it very well. It matters, and it plays an impactful part for the characters. But, we don't have to show everything. We don't have to be as brutal. We don't have to go hella hard. There's no reason for it. We don't have to go for it. So that's why I think it's fair. That's why I think it's fair to go ahead and do that and all that shit and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah. I just wanted to put that out there because I know if I talk about Berserk, somebody's going to come out there and say shit. Someone's going to come out there and call me out for it. Somebody's going to go and be like, oh, you're talking about Berserk? Bitch. Okay. The fact that it's in it isn't that bad. It's the fact that the way that they do it is not great. And even then, the way that they do it is the least impactful and matters to most. Where some people will just put it in to put it in. Never mind. I was gonna make a joke. We are not making that joke. Okay. All right. Never mind. Let's go. Hey, where's my phone? There you are. That was a catch. That was a bad catch. That was good. That was a good catch. I mean, yummy. God. Okay. All right. So we talked about that part. Oh yeah. Yes. Okay. So to jump on that part a little bit that I was talking about when it comes to all that stuff. Again, I think Guts takes another award for any manga for probably having one of the worst lives of childhood I've ever seen. To be, brutalized, sold, born from a corpse, a child soldier, all this shit. Guts has had a very bad and awful life. And that first part for the Golden Age, where you just see him going through all of that, is so shit. Oh my god. Oh my god, man. I don't think I know many people who have gone through a worse time. A very, very, very more worse time than Guts during his childhood. And again, makes so much sense on the person that he's become, which is right, I see now what this is and who you are. So I see how this turned you into this. That makes a lot of sense now. It's not really a mystery as to how or why we got here now, who you became. So yeah, that's why I was just yes. being sold to be used and being a child soldier and being forced to use weapons bigger than yourself and struggling will definitely turn you into a heartless, coldless bastard. I will tell you that much. But so, like a little after that, we see that Guts ends up running into a band who tries to rob him, and that is the band of Hawks. They try to attack him. Casca, that's where we first meet Casca, where he beats Casca in the fight. Then Griffith comes and easily beats him, and they take him in. They wonder what the fuck, and Griffith's like, nah, we can use this motherfucker. They do their first raid, they get out alive. Griffith shows that, not Griffith, Guts shows his worth and goes back to save him, and it's like, oh, you hold your own, big dog. I'll see you. All right. And so from that point on, Guts is now part of the band of Hawks. And I have to let me see if there's anything else I should address before. Oh, I kind of already talked about that. Guts and the band of Hawks is kind of the biggest story tell. So when it comes to this part, a lot of this, it's not okay. When I say this, I say this in the most positive way possible, because it's used to kind of give emphasis for what it is at the end. But the story of the Golden Age, it is good because there's a lot of character developments. What makes like the Golden Age really good isn't like the actual story being told, but the actual characters surrounding the story. So I do want to address some of them, and I'm actually going to start from like, maybe there's some other characters that I'm missing. I'll think about them as I go. But there are a few characters that I want to touch on. First of all, obviously, the main character, Guts. Watching his development through all that was genuinely super wholesome. Even though everything about it was so brutal, like the character work for Guts throughout the entirety of the Golden Age and with the band of Hawks and all that stuff is it's so masterfully done. It is unironically some of the best character work I think I've seen in like majority of stuff. There's only like a few shows that I think compared to that fucking stuff. Like I don't even think like other big shows like Cowboy Bebop and other stuff like that. Maybe like the Oshinoko, Full Metal Alchemist, like other little personal stuff. Like those are two big ones. I'd say. I think Apothecary Diaries has some good character work there too. I would say Freewind, and I can acknowledge the character, but I'm not even through the first season right now, so I'm just gonna keep that out of my mouth. I'm not really gonna go ahead and really say that. But like there's a lot there, man, when it comes to what was I talking about? When it comes to Guts, yeah. Jesus, when it comes to Guts and how he's treated and how he's being able to grow now that he's had people by his side. And he fights it at first, which is completely understandable when when your whole worldview before that point is, pretty shitty. And even then, the way he meets the band of Hawks is a shitty because, again, they rob his ass. Like, they fucking take him, and they're like, no, wait, what? Like, look at that motherfucker. Let's rob him. And then they actively hate you and also actively try to kill you in the middle of the night, and it's only because of one person that doesn't do it. I get the hesitation. But as you see, this slowly builds up. He slowly builds trust. Obviously, one of the biggest points of that was the 100, like, Guts versus the 100 men fight. That is such an iconic. My God, man. Obviously, I know the pose. Everyone knows the pose. But, that fight is so fucking good, man. That fight is so fucking good. It's so massively well done, too. Because, like, that is such a big changing point of, like, him being like, oh, yeah, I'm just, like, fighting to survive. Where, like, he's kind of realizing, like, no, I'm fighting for something a bit more here. Or at least, like, having, like, being like, yeah, I understand, like, at least like I have a path when it comes to fighting, and you see him like you see him grow and grow more actually, and it's kind of nice too where you're like, oh yeah, I'm like thinking about like my dreams and my own future a bit, because there is a moment where Griffith goes to Guts and tells him like something like in the vein of, a friend to me is someone who has their own dream that can stand as an equal or something like that. Which kind of makes Guts realize, I mean, I'm just somebody who fights. Dreams are something I haven't really been able to think about much. So, and because he's been able to survive. But now that like, he's not necessarily fighting to survive now. He's more thinking about himself now that he's in like a better position to actually put himself there. Which is like, it's a nice thought when you think about it, where it's just like, oh yeah, I don't have to like fight to fight anymore. I'm fighting for people, and I'm fighting for myself, and I'm like, what am I swinging around this sword for? Is there like a bigger reason for all of this now? Do I have a goal in mind like Griffith would, or am I just gonna be someone who keeps fighting for themselves? Which is, it's nice. You would think that like, I don't know. You would think the goal at one point would to be to stop fighting, would to be like, yeah, no, my goal is to fight to like be at peace or something like that. You would think it'd be something like that. At least for me, I would sit there and be like, yeah, you know what? I'd like to at least just be able to fight to the point where I can just relax and be calm and not have to worry. Obviously, there's stuff other as well, but I'll touch more on it once we get to the Griffith crash out that happens. So a lot of the context we're going to be talking about is going to be from like the meeting to the Band of the Hawks to like the meetings from the Band of the Hawks to Griffith's crash out. Specifically, when Guts finally beats Griffith in like the 1v1 fight for him to be able to leave. So the next character is Casca. And can I just say, she is definitely the archetype that I think started everything for me personally. Got my eyes. Hold on. Mise, all done getting ready. I need to head over to the grocery store, but I'll have you playing in my ear. Yay! Awesome. Have fun at the grocery store. I hope it's not too expensive. Because the groceries are fucking expensive, man. But no, have fun. Have fun on your Sunday chore going out time. Yeah. So I remember my buddy telling me that Casca was basically this so like, oh shit, my bad. I thought my shit was going down. Okay. So where was I going with this? Oh yeah, we can talk about Casca. So somebody told me that Casca was like kind of sort of the archetype for like the short hair tough girl look. I don't know if that's completely true, but like I see it. I do see it. But no, I completely understand people being like I get why people have a fixation on Casca, because I'm like damn, all right, I see it. Tough hair, short hair, tough girl. That is definitely my type. But she also has her struggles and gripes too. Not gripes too, but like she has her own trauma that she's working through as well. Obviously, being somebody who is attached to Griffith in a very strong way and trying to get the approval of Griffith all the time. It was very obvious that, kind of getting bitch slapped around by Guts after trying to fight him a bunch of times didn't really help her in how he felt, because Griffith definitely was really, really attached to Guts. And this was probably one of those times, which is funny because you'd think I'd see it a lot, but I don't see it. I'm surprised there's not more Griffith X Guts stuff, But I think that for a good reason. Also, to be fair, that is not the community for that, if I'm going to be completely honest. But I'm not talking about them. But Casca, yeah, her character is, man, it took a little bit to like fully like her, but like you see the point of her as well, because she also is very similar to Guts. As the very bad back life, Griffith swooped her up, being like, "Here you go, here's a knife. What you gonna do? You're gonna die. You're gonna survive." And she chose to survive, and now stands with Griffith and trying to survive. But you also see her that she's like in the same boat of like, listen, she's like trying to fight to survive and fighting for like a better life, but also you see that there's like a lot there, and she doesn't want to be left or abandoned, which is why I think she fights as hard as she does, obviously. So it's just one of those things you sit there and you're just like, damn, yeah, girl, I feel you on that. And I think the turning point for both of them is that intense spicy scene that happens, where like I think both of them they both realize that like, yeah, we could be our own people, and like there's more to life than maybe like the band of Hawks and other things like that. Like we don't necessarily need to be attached to Griffith by the hip. I think Griffith also saw that where he saw like Casca and Guts getting closer, but I also think that would be more helpful to him of being like, Griffith's like, listen, I don't really care what you do as long as A, you don't get in my way, and B, you're not higher than me. So fuck it, I don't really care. So it's like, cool. Which, I have my comments about Griffith. Alright, you know what? For Griffith, I gotta talk about it hindsight. I won't talk about it like detailed on after his crash out. But something hindsight I have realized about Griffith. Like I thought, so initially reading it, right? You do see Griffith as like, he is like a manipulative person. He is somebody that is like, he knows how to play the system. He knows how to get his way. He's very charming in that way. Like, I'm not gonna lie. If I was in a war-torn state and Griffith came up to me and tried to woo me off my feet, I'd probably join the Band of Hawks too. I'm going to be completely honest. And I would also die in that eclipse. Because, like, there's no denying that Griffith isn't charming. But I also just realizing, that motherfucker, that son of a bitch has been evil since the fucking start. Let's be honest. That motherfucker, Griffith, he's been evil from the fucking start. I'm slowly realizing that. Because the way that, like, the manga would depict it would be this savior of the people who came and is like trying to do better, but he only got corrupted by the God hand, right? But in reality, I think it's obvious Griffith was always like that. Griffith is someone who, like, Griffith is somebody who's trying to do it for the betterment of people. Obviously, he's trying to do it for himself, which I think that's just obvious. He's just obvious, but like, it's not like he was kind to people because he wanted to, and it was just like, yes, we're all united. He was just kind to them because it's just like, I need helping hands. And the moment he didn't need helping hands, he saw them more as a threat and in his way. So, like, listen, say what you want. I do kind of think that motherfucker is, it's kind of evil. And I don't even think that's wild to say. Personally, I really don't think it's wild to insinuate that Griffith is just a straight up evil, like genuinely evil person, like from the rip. I'm talking about from the fucking rip, like rip that fucking shit. It's like, oh no, you have been stop. I opened Twitch real quick and it started doing that, but yeah, like, I don't know, just like seeing everything, and then it made more sense just fucking looking at everything and fucking seeing everything. It just made more sense, and just like looking at it, it's just like, whoa, hold on. Oh yeah, no, this motherfucker not cool. This motherfucker not cool. I don't know if I would have realized that ahead of time, especially since like it's hard to realize that, right? Where you see everyone being so good and being so great and being so like by his side and cheerful. Like because of Griffith, you're living better now. You're living in a castle. You're no longer living in tents. You're like considered one of the like one of the top military assets. You're being treated on the level of like a noble. Yeah, I fucking ride that shit too. Fuck yeah. Because of Griffith and my hard work, we're both fucking eating good. Yeah, I'd fucking go ahead and do that. But like, there's no doubt in my mind that motherfucker's evil. Like, I just looking at everything and all the manipulation tactics and stuff like that. Like it was bad. It was bad from the get go. That motherfucker knows how to woo people in. That motherfucker knows how to slither motherfuckers into the fucking conversation and shit. It's obvious. It's obvious that motherfucker knows like how to like manipulate people and pull on their strings and make them feel better. Like I'd like to admit and say that there was probably something there, but like of care. And maybe that left him at some point, but I just don't think so anymore. Like it's hard to imagine. Stop it! No, Jesus Christ. Why is it all just starting up again? Jesus fucking Christ! Holy shit! I just want to check something real quick. But yeah, that nigga Griffith is evil, and honestly, the way he manipulated his way up to the race like that, you have to be evil. There's no way you don't do that while not being somewhat evil. Like that's the only like conclusion that I can come to, honestly. Personally, it's like fucking hell. Hold on. Jesus Christ, so much shit is happening right now. I just needed to fucking check something, dog. Give me a fucking break. Holy shit. Okay. Alright, I just wanted to check something real quick. But yeah, that whole portion of Griffin's just an evil nigga, man. I don't know. Griffin's just an evil man with evil ways, man. Like, I feel duped. I feel manipulated because I like knew what was gonna happen, but I didn't realize to like what nth degree it happens. Like I genuinely thought from the knowledge that I had of Berserk before going into it that it was like, oh yeah, like we're gonna just work together and we're gonna have, and it's just a friend that like gets like at the wrong time. But like no, that is not the situation at all whatsoever, and it fucking sucks. Oh my god, TikTok, why are you being an asshole right now? Jesus fucking Christ, TikTok. Oh, is my audio not going on TikTok? No, my audio is going on TikTok. What the fuck? I was supposed to say, TikTok, why are you being such a poopy butthole, TikTok? Oh my god, it did something. Oh my god, what happened? Wait, what the fuck? I want this. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ, man. We can't have fucking shit good in Detroit, motherfucker. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ, man. But yeah, that's the old Griffith part. I could touch on like 3 other characters that I think are somewhat important. 4 technically. I just need to remember the 4th person's name. But one of them, I don't know why, but I grown like a slight pleasant interest in Corcus, just because I feel like he is just I think he's just used as the typical mindset for everyone who is just another random foot soldier in the Band of Hawks, where it is just like yeah, the mentality of just like, bro, like don't ruin this for us guts. Let's just like chill and like let's just enjoy life, and like him being able to be a noble and whatnot, and just being like, okay, like Corcus, I thought he was kind of a dick in the beginning, but like he also grows a little bit as well, growing to like guts and feeling more united, which I think was cool. Which is also why I think that man Griffith could see what was happening in the folds and being like, fuck you. Another character that I think is very interesting is Judo, and like just the way he plays into all the aspects. Like, he's not like a super big focal point, but Judo is somebody who like is somewhat a sense of reason, or at least able to like parse things out better for other people. Like I would say for a good chunk of the series, he probably has a better head on his shoulders than Griffith and Guts and Casca, and it probably wouldn't be until they have their own more awakening of like trying to be more independent, but also, you know, having their own understanding of like how things are. Late joiner, thank you for joining the stream, man. I appreciate it. I like the little rainbow frog you got there. It's fucking cute as shit. But yeah, like that's how I like. Judo is a very interesting character in that regard, because I think he helps them like parse out a lot of their feelings and kind of. He's definitely the other sider, right? Like when Casca has her feelings, he's like, okay, but think about like Guts in this situation and all that stuff like that. He's definitely the person that tries his best to like keep the family together, right? All the jobs that other people might not want to do, he does it. If somebody has somewhat of a conflict, he's on that other side. And I think that helps for people not going too far off the deep end too much, which I thought was nice. Also, I just want to acknowledge Pippin, because Pippin is fucking amazing. That big old fucking lovable hug, like fucking lunk of a guy. I love fucking Pippin so much, especially how easily he's able to manhandle Guts, which is not easy, mind you. That motherfucker is a big ass motherfucker. So for Pippin to do that, I mean, we always saw Pippin's bigger than Guts. Also, oh my god, I was holding it back. I do need to use the bathroom real quick. One big thing about the Golden Age that gave me so much fucking anxiety was, wait, was he a part of it? I know Zod was a part of it, which that whole interaction with Zod was fucking terrifying. And let's face it, if it wasn't for Zod looking at the belt, that Griffith and Guts would have been done for. But also, what an antagonist, not antagonist, what a somewhat of an instigator to just gonna be like, I ain't got to kill you, man. That belt, that motherfucker with the belt, that's the motherfucker that's gonna kill you. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna leave because I want to watch. I ain't touching all that. I'm like, he's just like, yeah. Oh yeah, you fly. I gotta see this play out now. God damn. It's the funniest thing. Like, I remember him saying that, and I'm just like, this motherfucker left. Why? What was it like? What's so bad about that thing? Obviously, we know now what's so bad about that thing. But initially, when you look at it, you're like, what is this? Why am I gonna leave? What's so bad about the behemoth that this motherfucker gotta leave? Holy shit. But now, Jesus Christ. Obviously, you see why, and you're like, oh shit. Oh, fuck. Well, that's so terrifying, man. Jesus Christ. Having to deal with all that shit. I would not want to. No. But yeah, Zod. And like, Skeleton Knight technically towards the end. I can't. Jesus Christ. I can't fully remember if the Skeleton Knight actually shows up like somewhere in between. I know he doesn't show up for a lot of the Golden Age. Like, he's not there in the Kingdom. He's not there that. But I think he shows up like, he shows up, I think, before the actual calamity, not calamity, but the actual eclipse happens at least once, I feel. I may be completely wrong about that, but I feel like there was a point he does show up at some point. But I may be wrong. But that nigga also looming. That one's even worse, because that motherfucker will be the most cryptic motherfucker in the entire world, telling you the most fucking abstract shit that will come true, but you don't know it comes true because you don't know the context for it. Motherfucker will just go off, and it's just like, yes, the winds are blowing in different ways, and you will have to choose which direction before you get blown off the cliff. I'm like, it's like, what the fuck does that mean, Kobe Bryant? And then motherfucker will just walk off with his horse. It's like, no, don't you walk into the mist. What the fuck does that mean, Kobe Bryant? Tell me in English, motherfucker, not in fucking cryptic. I still like Skeleton Knight though. Skeleton Knight though is lit. It just, I also got the frustration of, bitch, stop being cryptic and just tell me what you want to tell me. Stop beating around the bush. Stop playing these games with me. God, it's so fucking frustrating sometimes. I need to put down the camera. My bad. I need to put it low into the flow. That way my camera can see my lovely face. Well, yeah, Zod and Skeleton Knight are definitely two figure, and they do have like an interaction, which you see he's just like, I forget it, like, I can't remember if they owe something for him or if someone's ducking the fade. I think I can't remember. Someone's ducking a fade. It might be Skeleton Knight. Cause I think Zod was like, Skeleton Knight went to go save them, and Zod was like, hey nigga, you owe me a fade. And Skeleton like, look, listen, man, like, not now. Like, we got, like, I need to say those people. I'm like, you want to say that? You crazy. Good luck. It's like, you fucking sassy son of a bitch. Oh, but I did think that was extremely funny though. Oh yeah, I brought up all that. Like, I want to say more when it comes to the Golden Age, but like, I do sit there and like, there's like little nuances, but all of them does have to do with characters and stuff like that, like Casca and Griffith and how close they grow and all that stuff. You see how Griffith's manipulation tactics work, and realizing that motherfucker's not a good person, was never a good person, and never should have been a good person. And no one can tell me otherwise. That motherfucker Griffith was never a good person to begin with, and we were only just blinded by his charm, just like the rest of the band of the Hawks. Regardless, like, there's that. And then there's everyone else that plays their part, and you saw, there's like the nobles, and you see how like Griffith is affected by, like, affects the nobles. Like, I still think one of like the creepiest fucking like panels for reading the manga was when after the assassination attempt against Julius, I think it was, and one of the nobles goes up to like, they go up to accuse Griffith. It's just like, oh, I think you know. And he plays it off. But when he turns back around, the like noble turns back around to like, because he's going that way, motherfucker's being stared down by Griffith in the most intense way possible. And I'm going to keep harping on it. I'm going to be so honest. I'm going to keep harping about it. That's probably the point. We should have known that nigga was evil. If I'm being so completely honest, like, you don't have a good soul and look at somebody like that. Even if they were the evil ass nobles, you do not look at somebody like that and see good in them. At the very least, Griffith definitely had more evil than good. Like, his balance was definitely leaning towards evil. He was just like, yeah, but I guess I can like help these people that are also with me. But I do just think that motherfucker was straight evil, for being completely honest. I don't think that there's a way for you to convince me otherwise. Realistically, I don't think so. But yeah, with all of that happening, a big point, which I think I want to get to catch, because it's going to lead into the other big discussion, a few big discussions that I had with other people and friends when it comes to this. So, a big point, and this is a point where like we can really start seeing like the tables really being like, oh, things are getting serious. It was after the second duel that Griffith and Guts have with each other that Guts actually wins, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm leaving the Band of Hawks. And at first, when I first read that, right, I assumed that Griffith was trying to enact whatever master plan he had in mind now that he didn't have guts, maybe to push it forward, right? Or maybe it was a way for him to get back, guts, right? Put himself in danger in order for Guts to save him. I now, just with hindsight status, I don't think he was trying to do that. I think that motherfucker Griffith was just having a crash out, because it's one of the first times we really see Griffith lose. But there are times people try to press Griffith's buttons and all that stuff. And like, if you want to be technical, the first time we really see him lose is like against Zod. But that feels different, right? Because Zod's like this fucking creature that exists that is like really undescribable, to the point where I don't even know if Griffith at the time really understood what he was looking at. He's like, that's not a man, that's a beast, that's not even a beast, that's a fucking demon. I don't know if I could kill that. That's kind of fucking insane. And it was kind of one of those things where it might have been something that he observed of a level in which he could never reach, right? Which is probably why that didn't affect him. And it kind of did as well. He still got injured and all that stuff, but not as much as I think the second Guts duel that he had did, right? And so my feeling on it is that like it was more just all his actions from that point were just a spiral of him just going down and just not coping with the fact that he's, he can't control everything. Griffith is somewhat of a control freak for himself of, trying to stay on the path, and anyone that like tries to test him, he just fucking crashes out the fuck out of, right? Griffith likes being in control. Griffith likes being in top. I feel like that's just very evident with like how he holds himself and how he is. Because again, the most times we see Griffith, he is on top. He's the leader of the Band of the Hawks. Band of the Hawks are already getting like a pretty like good status. He then starts climbing the like ladder. Like Griffith is someone who doesn't mind starting from the bottom, right? But he's always confident that he could quickly work his way to the top, which is what happens. But I think this was like the first real blow that he had that he could feel. And I think he could feel that creeping up on him, being like, hey, Griffith, there's somebody who's aligned with you that could slowly take your place. He's not far off. And if he gets on the right track, he could be stronger than you. And I don't think Griffith had a good way of processing that. Now, am I justifying his actions that come afterwards? Absolutely fucking not. I'm just giving more of a reasoned analysis as to why he acted that way. I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying what he did to that girl was good at all, whatsoever. And honestly, you guys deserve to be locked up. Maybe not brutalized like that. Well, I don't know. Like, I wish I did this. I wish I had this conversation earlier. Because obviously now, knowing what I know, I don't feel bad for anything that Griffith went to. But knowing what I know beforehand, like, obviously that happened, but it was more of just like, damn, that's crazy, that's insane, and all this like other stuff that's just like, it's fucking bad, right? It's fucking bad, not great. Shit goes kind of fucking insane and whatnot. And then he gets fucking captured. He gets captured, Ben and the Hawks get ran out of the kingdom, and I forget, it's like a good like long while until not good long, like a super long time, but they need to regroup and refresh for a little bit and like actually go and find Guts again before they actually go back to rescue Griffith, which they do rescue Griffith, and they do take it back, and they're like on the outskirts of the kingdom trying to like recoup and talk. And this is where my second big contention comes in with some people that I've talked to. So there is a scene where Griffith is laying in a carriage, and on the side of the carriage, Casca and Guts are kind of talking about the future of the Band of the Hawks, right? Talking about how, like, Guts is in no position to really keep fighting, and even if he was to get healthy again, his body's gone through so much wear and tear that like he's kind of not equipped to fight anymore. So they kind of talk about like what's the future of the Band of the Hawks, what's going to be the future of treating with Griffith, if like they don't want to ban him obviously, but they're talking about like what they need to do and stuff like that. Now, I have heard some people um, interpret this in Griffith misunderstood what they were saying, right? And like in the manga panel, I can 110% see why people would get that. I don't know if that's the case. I think regardless of what Griffith heard, I think he would have still panicked. Because it kind of leans into why I think he's evil and his whole personality. I don't think Griffith likes having to be in some form of being controlled, right? So, like, the idea that he can't fight anymore, he can't fight for himself, he might have to have other people fight for himself and whatnot, I think is bad. And I think that conversation showed to Griffith that there are even his top generals, don't really have the confidence that he could do the stuff that he can again. And on top of that, there are people just kind of around that also don't feel that way. And I think Griffith feels that. I think he felt that, and he's just like, oh, I'm about to be in a position where I'm being controlled, where I won't be able to make my own destiny, and my destiny is going to rely on other people. I don't like that. I don't want that. And the reason why is like, I don't want you to come any closer to me, because I think him not wanting to be close to Guts is admitting the fact that, like, you know, he won't have that freedom anymore. He won't have that control anymore. He can't make his own destiny. He has to like completely rely on the aspect of others. And he doesn't want that. Which is why I think that determination of him being like, no, I want to create my own path. I don't want to go on the path that someone else created. I want to create my own path. I want to do that. Which ends up leading to the fucking belt opening and fucking enough desire being wanted and his ambitions crumbling. And then they all get sucked into the motherfucking eclipse. And this is where the fucking roll gets pulled under all our rules, because fuck you, Kentaro, for making one of the most brutal parts of the story, where we fall in love with so many of these motherfucking characters. We fall in love with Pippin, Corcus, Jado. There's another character who, like, doesn't get caught in the eclipse, by the way. I don't remember where he was, but he gets, I don't know, something like lost in the forest and got found by actual fairies or some shit. Some wild or crazy shit like that. But like that all happens, but like Corcus, Pippin, Jado, Casca, Guts, all the people that we like seen and interacted with, they're all like in this fucking, I don't even know what you call it, but like the eclipse is happening. And it's just like, there's demons swarming all over, and Griffith has been taken in this like egg. And so like they're all trying to fight to save Griffith, but it's all feeling like a lost cause. Meanwhile, you know, Griffith is being talked to, being like, oh, you poor soul, your ambition has crumbled, your desire has waned. But don't you want that back? Don't you want your desire back? Wouldn't you love to have that feeling of being in control again? Like, you'd do anything for it, right? After all, this is your dream. This is your desire. And this is where I have to bring up something that almost kind of fucked the story for me with Berserk. So, if you don't know, if you've read I was reading Berserk online, on like a website, right? And like, I forget what website. It was a website. I'm not snitching, but it was a website, and I was reading it, and I was reading a chapter where this being that we are assumed to essentially be God is talking about how he weaves and woos and kind of like, you know, he's just like, oh yeah, you know, all paths are kind of determined and all paths are this and that. And there's a point where he's talking to Griffith. He's like, yeah, I see you. You want to you want to like fly high, you want to like go up to the castle, you want to be there, you don't want to be on the ground anymore, you want to be considered like a god, right? It's like, so what is your desire? What can I grant you, child? And Griffiths just says, I want wings. Now, this took me so out of the fucking story that literally, like, my buddy I was living with, it's like 11, 12 at night. I knock at his door, and I'm like, brother, what fucking turn did this story fucking take? That, like this story has been so somewhat, like, profound for a long time. And then all of a sudden, I get hit with, he wants wings? What? That's such a weird, simple, like, interaction. Like, what? Like, what the fuck? What the actual? What is this? What are we talking about? I then soon come to find out that chapter is actually not canon anymore. That chapter in subsequent, like, printings for the volumes and in the, like, mega volume stuff and like the master volumes that are brought up with all that, that chapter isn't in there because it kind of shows the entire hand of what Berserk is kind of about. And I don't even know if that's even, like, fully canon, right? So I didn't know that. And I think I somewhat fucked myself like that. So this is kind of just a warning to anybody who reads it online. There is a chapter that is essentially considered not canon, or at least I was told was considered not to be fully canon. And that was the one where Griffith, it seems like he is talking to God. Because I don't think there's supposed to be an insinuation of God, because it's supposed to, like, it's supposed to play into the law of causality, but I don't think the law of causality is supposed to be so straightforward as, yes, there is a God that weaves the fate of people. I think the law of causality is more supposed to be played as, oh, the God hand is basically demons that are able to, like, weave fate, but there's a little bit of obfuscation that could happen where, like, they don't see it, or maybe there's something out of their realm of omniscience that they don't see that's supposed to, like, affect stuff. Because once you add the God stuff into it, then you see everything is predetermined, and it kind of changes how, like, you view the story and how you feel Guts and how you feel Griffith, and then it adds a whole bunch of bad questions that really put the story in a bad hole. So if it's not canon, good. I'm okay with leaving that chapter behind, forgetting about that chapter. That's just a fair warning to anybody who's, like, online. I forget what chapter it is. I want to say it's chapter 143. I'm not wrong, but it's definitely somewhere within the eclipse happening during the Golden Age. There is a chapter within the eclipse. If you see Griffith naked talking to a weird being, that chapter apparently not canon. Apparently is not canon. But this does bring up another somewhat theory, and I've seen some people talk about it as well, which is very interesting. I'm glad I'm not the only one that I think had, like, somewhat of the theory. But I think there's been a somewhat of an understanding that, like, Guts is somebody that is kind of treated as, like, an outside force, like someone who is off the not side of it, but, like, outside that world of omniscience that the God hand has. And so I think, at least my somewhat working theory is that, like, the law, I forget, like, the full law of causality, but I know the full, like, the part of the law of causality has to somewhat do with, oh my God, how do I explain it? How, like, from, like, birth to death, right? Like, things are kind of manipulated in the sense of, like, there's butterfly effects that happen, and they could be, like, manipulated in a sense, right? Like, they could be, like, they can be manipulated in a certain way in order to, like, guide people to certain directions and have certain things happen. And Guts seems to kind of obfuscate that, or he seems to be outside that realm. And I wonder if that has to do is because he's somebody who was technically born from death. Because if you don't remember, his mother was hung while she was pregnant, but Guts was able to survive like from birth from that, right? Like despite his mother dying, Guts was still able to survive by some way, shape, or form. Now, one could argue that there may be a law of causality happening from that, but it does seem that like the law of causality for most things happens between like life and death, right? So if there is a being that is technically born after the aspect of death, I wonder if Guts falls out of them realm to the point where like he is born outside of that cycle of life and death that the law of causality operates in. Therefore, he is someone that is being treated as an outside force. Because he wouldn't be technically the only outside force that is within the story. We have Zod that technically acts as the outside force because his appearance definitely feels sudden. And even the God Hand does acknowledge the fact that the Skeleton Knight was not supposed to be at the eclipse. They couldn't foresee that. They couldn't have seen that. And so he is someone that actually ends up being an obstacle once that happens. So I do wonder if since the way of that Guts was born, he has been a being that has been able to basically forego fate, and he is truly able to make his own path, right? Because if we take everything into consideration, Griffith was someone who wasn't able to really make his own path. But everybody else is also kind of that same way. Hence why Griffith was able to manipulate them. Casca found his way. And even then, there might also be outside forces that still keep Guts in there. Like him being picked up by, oh my god, I forgot the person that found him, but that dude, and then all the wars that would happen. Like there could be forces that are trying to bring him in line with the law of causality, but Guts is able to, get away from that and be able to not be truly affected by it the same way like someone that Griffith can, or like Casca and all of them, and that's how like kind of their fate is and whatnot. So I wonder if that's the case, because there are other aspects of people who don't seem to fully follow the law of causality. So that is something that I, reading more into, I wonder. Because also you can also argue like him going against the apostles shouldn't be something that should be possible either. Like no mere human should be able to kill the apostles like that, but he does. So that might be also going against the law of causality, because it's just like, well, but he also might be contributing to it. I haven't fully fleshed this idea out, but it's something that I did at least want to put out into the ether as well. Also, okay, this is going to be also the most, like, probably the most random thing that I can bring up during the eclipse, but I do actually feel there is one death that actually made me feel kind of bad, and it was the one with Corcus. Because the way he goes out, it feels so sad. Like it's at one point where he's like, I feel like he knows that he won't be able to get out and he won't be able to survive. But I think he also acknowledges that like, because like I think he died by a demon, but the demon like tries to mimic a body. And I think in his mind, he knows. He's like, I know that's not real. But before I go out, I just want to like feel pleasure one more time. Which ends up being his demise, but it's also kind of one of those things that, like, I wonder if he knew and he just gave up. He's just like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't mind. Which I sat there, I'm like, that's so sad. And Jadot's is also sad. Everyone's is also somewhat sad. Just Corcus was the one that was very interesting to me. Also, Jadot, I don't know why I didn't pick up on Jadot like it, Casca. That one, I don't know, hit me the wrong. I don't know why that didn't like pop into my head, but that was also a thing. I was like, oh, okay, I guess. It's just like, it's not wrong, or it's not necessarily bad. Also, I'm just going to say this right here, right now. shouldn't be hard, shouldn't be obvious. It should be just well known. If you defend anything of what Griffith did, you're kind of a fucked person. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. No way I can explain. Like, there's not really a way to explain it. What Griffith did to Casca and Guts was fucked. And there's not really any good way to bring it up. Not bring it up, but there really is not. It's not great, man. It really isn't. It's shitty, and it sucks, and it's not great. It's not great. It's not great. It's not great. It's fucking ass. If you defend it, your ass. You're kind of a piece of shit, and you're not a good person. I don't know. Bro, I don't know what to tell you. You are not a good person. I don't know how someone can look at like what Griffith did to Casca and sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, that's totally like a good thing, right? That's fine. That's completely fine." It's like, what? No, nigga, where did you get that from? What made you assume that was an okay thing? What made you think that was fine? Like, I don't get it, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not get it. I know there's people out there. I know you exist. I just don't understand you. I don't understand the logic that comes with you wanting to defend the shit that Griffith did. Bro, and again, I'll lean into it. This is what I mean about Berserk showing too much shit. Like, you didn't need to do all that. We didn't need to go that extra. We didn't need to do all this shit. The emotional shit already hurts. And then they want to go and show that much, bro. Chill, man. Like, thank God Kentaro looks back and like, yeah, that was too much. Yeah, it kind of was, man. I'm not gonna lie. Even I sat there. I'm like, bro, man, I get it. We're trying to show how fucked up of a person Griffith is now. Now that he's like just full gone off, mask off, but also at the same time, what the fuck, man? Holy shit. God, this shit was brutal. And unnecessarily otherwise, too. Like, we didn't need all that. We didn't need to do that. And then, like, it's so fucking traumatizing for her that she ends up essentially losing her memory from all the trauma, which is insane. I don't understand it, man. I don't. I do not understand it. That shit is so fucked. Like, I still think about it, and I remember just having to pause for like a couple of days because I'm just like, bro, that was fucking brutal, man. That's fucking brutal. Fucking insane how that shit happens. Like, fuck. Like, I'm still fucked by it, man. Like, low key, I'm not gonna lie. Like, that's just so much. It's so unnecessary. It's fucking unnecessary. Oh my god. Fucking hell, man. Alright, fuck it. Okay, I'm past that. Anyways, Casca and Guts get saved by the skeleton knight. They leave the eclipse. They go by a nearby place where he was staying beforehand. I can't fully fucking remember, but they go to a nearby house. They stay to get the rest up. Skeleton Knight explains that's where the brand of sacrifice comes, and now Guts is haunted forever, being unfortunately by the ghost. And now his whole goal is like, oh well, how do I get rid of this? Well, you gotta kill all the apostles. How many apostles are there? There's a fucking lot of apostles. There's a lot of apostles. There's a shit ton of apostles. And it's just kind of like one of those like, Oh yeah, yeah. I can actually see that there are a lot of fucking apostles. Son of a bitch. So yeah, that was man, it is a lot. It is a lot, isn't it? It is a lot. That is where we get Dragon Slayer. Which, fun fact, I went to a convention the other day. I got myself not a real life size, but I got myself Dragon Slayer. It's a foam Dragon Slayer, but it's Dragon Slayer that actually has some weight to it, and it's very fun to swing around. Which is also why I felt the need to make this podcast, because if I'm going to buy Berserk merch, I might as well start talking about it and start reading it. So, yeah, that's where we are with that. At the very least, that's kind of most of that for the Golden Age. I think so. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we should talk about. That we should touch on. I feel like I got through most of the thoughts that I wanted to with Berserk. I think I did. I think I am comfortable leaving my conclusions. So, at least from there, man, listen, if you can get past the actual really intense shit that happens and the actual, like, kind of rough around the edges part when it comes to, like, the depiction of things, Berserk is a very phenomenal story. Like, 100%, 10 toes down, it's phenomenal. It is, I would go as far as to say Berserk is probably my favorite manga. It is really, really fucking good. Right now, it's currently the favorite thing that I'm reading. Like, it's fun, it's great. It can be a little tense at times, and you need to pace it out, because the last time I fucking went and read fucking Berserk, I fucking sat there and I got to the Children of the Forest scene where I fucking I can't even say it, because I actually think it might get me banned if I say it. Just know that there was a lot of not great shit happening in that arc. And the arc is called Children of the Forest. So, you know. But again, it doesn't glorify it. It's just the pictures are really bad. But overall, when it comes to the actual stuff, it has it has really good character development. The story is fucking awesome. The world is awful, but like in the best ways possible. Like, Kentaro might have shown too much, but Kentaro knows how to make a fucking impactful story. And I completely understand, though, now why no one wants to touch this fucking story, dude. It's so hard to adapt, because it is one of those bigger than kind of life things where it's like, yeah, it's kind of like widely accepted that Berserk is one of the best mangas, but like, how do you live up to that hype and that adaptation? Because like, the 1997 gets it pretty good. 2016 was not great, but there are subsequent movies for that actually does a pretty good, okay job. But like, trying to match the hype for the manga, which is why I also think something like Vagabond will probably not get an adaptation for a very long time, because how do you live up to the hype of Vagabond? Like, that's like on the same level as Berserk. You can't live up to the hype of Vagabond. That's just that's such a mountain to fucking climb. I would not want to be the director to do that unless I could truly like imagine what I want to do there. It's so fucking hard, man. It genuinely is. So I truly don't blame anybody for looking at that and not wanting to touch it. But as a manga, man, it's good. And I know I have so much to read. I am somewhat pacing myself a little bit just because I know I could probably finish Berserk in about a couple of days. My problem is Kentaro's friend who's trying to finish up the story, he's going kind of slow. And that's not his fault. He just has a lot of things and he kind of got dropped the manga very suddenly. So I don't blame him for not like immediately like giving his life to the story. I think everyone else also completely understands. But I also think it's just one of those things where I sit there and it's just like, yeah, it's gonna it's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be a lot, and just be patient with me, and I'll try to get this as done as I can. When it'll get done, I have no clue. But yeah, do I recommend Berserk? Absolutely. Obviously, if you're not squeamish, if you're okay with going through some, harsh material and stuff like that, then Berserk is a story that I would actually recommend so many people to watch. Obviously, if that's not your cup of tea, if you don't like dark fantasy, you don't like watching real bad stuff, that's fine. I completely understand, and I'm not gonna judge you, so if you don't want to see that, that's a perfectly reasonable thing. You don't have to see it at all. I do not blame people. Yeah, I do recommend going to read Berserk. I do recommend doing all of that as best as you can. Obviously, if you're squeamish, that's completely understandable. And I don't think it should ever be held against you for that. Truly, Berserk is one of the best stories. I think everyone should give it a shot. If it's too much for you, I understand. I'm just looping. Berserk is good. That's just the best place to leave it at. Is that Berserk is just fucking so good. Jesus Christ. Okay. Since we are at the end, I will end it here. Thank you all for joining. We are back officially streaming as best as I fucking can. I got a lot of work I need to make sure I can keep up with. I meant to plan this out better, and I fucking did it because I'm an idiot. And I'm already behind on the work that I already need to do. So I'm going to try my best to take it, which is why I'm not also going to stream right now, because I'm not doing that. But with that being said, thank you so much. I appreciate you all for your lovely contributions. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for doing all that. And I will see you all I will see you all tomorrow, 5 p.m. We're going to, what are we doing? What am I doing? Oh, I'm going to play Magic because I saw Glow Swirl Siren or Glow play it, doing a pack pull. It made me want to go back to Magic Arena, especially since I'm streaming now. There's a lot more MTG fans who are VTubers than I imagine. If I could get a pod going of VTubers, boy, yes. Yes, that's the end for the stream. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye.